everyone, I hope you're doing well, and this is your Royal Daily News for September 9th, 2022. In La Palma, Canary Islands, Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain attended the inauguration of the new school year at the Princesa Acerina School with students from various schools that were destroyed by the Cumbre Vieja eruption in 2021. Thereafter, Her Majesty participated in a meeting with the teachers as well as the parents of the students of the Princesa Acerina School. In the afternoon, Her Majesty visited a residential area that was severely damaged by the Cumbre Vieja volcanic eruption. Whilst there, Her Majesty had a chance to view firsthand the recovery and rebuilding efforts taking place, according to the Spanish royal court. In Madrid, His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain held several audiences at Palacio de La Zarzuela. In the morning, His Majesty met with the steering committee of the Center for Public Policy and Government Studies of the University of Alcalá. In the afternoon, His Majesty met with new officials of the Corps of Inspectors from the Official Service for Inspection, Surveillance, and Regulation of Foreign Trade, which is one of the technical bodies of the General State Administration that is made up of 152 members. In London, Their Majesties King Charles III and the Queen Consort made an impromptu walkabout in front of Buckingham Palace to view the thousands of floral tributes for the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. During the walkabout, His Majesty met with hundreds of people on the first day of public mourning following the death of the Queen. In the afternoon, His Majesty King Charles III held an audience with the new Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Liz Truss, at Buckingham Palace. At 6 p.m., His Majesty King Charles III addressed the nation, the realms, and the Commonwealth from the Blue Drawing Room at Buckingham Palace. In his powerful speech, His Majesty said, quote, "As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself throughout the remaining time God grant to me to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation." End quote. When His Majesty spoke of Camilla, His Majesty noted that in recognition of her, quote, "own loyal public service since our marriage 17 years ago, she becomes my Queen Consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much." End quote. His Majesty also proudly conferred William and Catherine the titles of their Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales. Their children will now be referred to as His Royal Highness Prince George of Wales, Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte of Wales, and His Royal Highness Prince Louis of Wales. William and Catherine's reaction to becoming the Prince and Princess of Wales, according to a royal source, says, quote, "The couple are focused on deepening the trust and respect of the people of Wales over time. The Prince and Princess of Wales will approach their roles in the most modest and humble way they've approached their work previously. The new Princess of Wales appreciates the history associated with this role, but will understandably want to look to the future as she creates her own path." His Majesty the King also noted that he has conferred the titles of their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall to William and Catherine. He has also confirmed that William and Catherine have also inherited all Scottish titles, including their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay. In regard to his youngest son, His Majesty expressed his, quote, "love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas." End quote. His Majesty King Charles III ended his speech by thanking his father and mother, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, by saying, "Thank you. Thank you for your love and devotion to our family and to the family of nations you have served so diligently all these years. May the flights of angels sing thee to thy rest." Tomorrow at 10 a.m., His Majesty King Charles III will be proclaimed at the Ascension Council in the State Apartments of St. James's Palace in London. The Ascension Council, attended by Privy Councillors, is divided into two parts. In Part 1, the Privy Council, without the King present, will proclaim the sovereign and formally approve various consequential orders, including the arrangements for the proclamation. In Part 2 is the holding by the King of His Majesty's First Council. The King will make his declaration and read as well as sign an oath to uphold the security of the Church of Scotland and approve orders in council which facilitate continuity of government. Yesterday afternoon, the Danish Royal Court announced that Her Majesty Queen Margrethe II of Denmark will receive the 2022 Nordic Language Award on September 26, 2022 in Oslo. Her Majesty Queen Sonja of Norway will present the award to Her Majesty Queen Margrethe II during a gala to be held at the Grand Hotel. Established in 2010 by the Norden Association, the award is presented every year to a person, institution, authority, or organization who has contributed to the strengthening of the Nordic language. This morning, the Danish Royal Court announced that modifications to this weekend's Golden Jubilee celebrations have been made at the request of Her Majesty Queen Margrethe II of Denmark out of respect for the sudden death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Among other things, this means that the ceremonial celebration with the Guard Hussars Regiment Mounted Squadron and the horse-drawn carriage transport by the Royal Mews is cancelled. Subsequently, the adjustments are as follows. On Saturday, September 10th, the planned changing of the guard in front of Amalienborg Slot Square, during which the Queen and the royal family were to have appeared on the balcony, cancelled. The visit to the Copenhagen City Hall with accompanying entertainment is postponed until a later date. On Sunday, September 11th, the church service held at the Church of Our Lady Copenhagen Cathedral will go forward in a modified form. The following luncheon for the Nordic heads of state and the royal family aboard the Royal Yacht Dannenbrog will be carried out as planned. The gala banquet at Christiansborg Slot Sunday evening will be carried out, however, in a modified form. A new date for the postponed celebration at the Copenhagen City Hall will be announced in due course. In Luxembourg City, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg visited the British Embassy to sign the Book of Condolence. Upon hearing the news of the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg sent his condolences to His Majesty King Charles III, stating, quote, "The Grand Duchess and I have been deeply moved and saddened when we learned of the passing of your dear mother, Her Majesty the Queen." Yesterday morning in Luxembourg City, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg held an audience with the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, His Excellency Xavier Bettel, held at the Palais Grand Ducal. In the afternoon, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri, accompanied by his son, His Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg, hosted a luncheon for their Majesties King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden on the occasion of the 74th Board Meeting of the World Scout Foundation. Thereafter, Her Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duchess Stephanie of Luxembourg and Her Majesty Queen Sylvia of Sweden visited the Musée Villers-Vauban. During their visit, Her Majesty and the Hereditary Grand Duchess viewed various exhibitions, including the exhibition entitled English Landscapes, Masterpieces from the Tate Collection. The exhibition, in collaboration with the Tate Museum, proposes a comprehensive selection of John Constable's art inspired by his homeland landscapes and life events according to the Cour Grand Ducal. The collection ranges from small sketches to large landscapes, such as the world-renowned painting Salisbury Cathedral from the Meadows. The museum also features European painters from the 18th and 19th centuries, which invites guests to explore the interpretations of art at that time. In Adem, Her Majesty Queen Mathilde of the Belgians visited the Vaccinopolis, the recently launched vaccine center at the University of Antwerp. In the afternoon, Her Majesty, as an advocate of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, gave a speech during Diplomatic Days in Brussels. In her speech, Her Majesty emphasized the importance of Sustainable Development Goals in their diplomatic work. In Nice, France, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco attended the opening of the 2022 Global Diwan Connecting East and West Leaders Conference. The high-level conference gathers a large panel of leaders, experts, and politicians from the Euro-Arab regions to discuss the most important challenges of the future, the environment and food security. In Monacoville, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco has ordered that the flag above the Palais Princier de Monaco to be flown at half-mast in memory of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Upon hearing the news of Her Majesty's death, the Sovereign Prince sent a letter of condolence to His Majesty King Charles III, stating, quote, "Your Majesty, it is with profound sadness that my family and I learned of the passing away of your beloved mother, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Allow me to convey to you, to the members of the royal family, and to the people of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, my most heartfelt and sincere condolences for your loss at this time of great sorrow. Her Majesty's unwavering commitment and dedication to duty during her reign has always been extremely inspiring. It will be long remembered and admired." Her Serene Highness Princess Charlene of Monaco also released a statement stating, quote, "I am deeply saddened at the news of the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, a truly great lady whose dedication and service was recognized throughout the world during her 70 years of her reign. Today, my thoughts are with her family, her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren, and the British people." End quote. Meanwhile, Her Serene Highness Princess Stephanie of Monaco participated in a meeting with the board of directors of Fight AIDS Monaco. During the meeting, discussions focused on the latest activities of Fight AIDS Monaco and the House of Life. Yesterday afternoon, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco officially opened the La Diagonale Training Center. After the cutting of the ribbon and speeches, the Sovereign Prince was given a tour of the new facility, which will allow AES Monaco to, quote, "further strengthen the level of requirements and the bridges that exist between the first team and the academy. La Diagonale has been designed to bring together on a single site all the young talents of the AS Monaco Club in order to be able to set up a centralized system of operating and to offer them all the necessary services as well as equipment, which includes accommodation, teaching, catering, medical care, physical training, etc., etc., etc." End quote. And finally, in Thimphu, Their Majesties King Jemne Kesar and Queen Jetson of Bhutan, along with their 2 sons, attended a butter lamp ceremony and offered prayers in memory of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow on Saturday, September 10th, with all the latest royal news, including the Golden Jubilee celebrations in Copenhagen, as long as I don't lose my voice, which I'm losing right now. With that being said, enjoy your Friday evening, everyone, and I wish you all a great weekend ahead. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.